And his role in the team, he was asking Cristiano Ronaldo play regularly for an Erik Ten Hag team that likes to press from the front at the age of 37, to which the coach replied, I think Cristiano is capable of doing that. In his career, he has shown everything. There was another question about Cristiano Ronaldo saying he won't slow you down. Erik Ten Hag replied, saying, I have set my demand. We want to play in a certain way. A top player can contribute, and Ronaldo is an absolute top player in our squad. What do you make of that, Craig?
Well, I'm not up to full speed on the Ronaldo situation behind the scenes, so I think those are very generic answers, if I'm being honest.
And he wouldn't even be drawn either on saying like when he's back or anything right now. But let's say he does come back.
I don't know what the club's position is.
I
don't know what the club's position is, Gab, in terms of, you know, if Ronaldo is going to play a sort of Lewandowski hardball game, or whether they're going to go down he's going to go down a different route, because we know Lewandowski made it crystal clear about the relationship between himself and the club and what he expected. We haven't quite got to that stage yet, I don't think, but we may do with the season looming in the transfer window, end of August, blah, blah, blah. I don't know the club's position on this.
Sorry, Gab. The two things are, he's done great because he hasn't answered the question. Generic is absolutely perfect. Nobody can take anything from it whatsoever. The other thing is, to Craig's point about, this guy looks as though if you do it, you're good. If you don't, you're out. We ain't going to find that out till they start playing a proper game. And if Ronaldo doesn't do it, then we'll find out if Mr. Ten Hag is going to follow through with all the strong things that he says.
So what is the latest then, Gab, that we do know on the Cristiano Ronaldo situation?
The situation is unchanged. He's on personal leave. I think, this is my interpretation, but if he got the right offer from another club and it suited United, I'm sure United would do nothing to keep him if it was the right offer. I was interested in what Ten Hag had to say there to Rob's question about the pressing and stuff, because we've seen him all season. We've seen him with managers who like to press and demand a certain type of movement, a certain type of intensity. We have that. We have analytics on it. He doesn't do it. And it doesn't make him a bad player, because there's a flip side to this. You could have Cristiano not pressing and tracking back, and then he'll still score the worldie in the last minutes. And he did it on a number of occasions last season, which gets you points and gets you to advance in the Champions League. So if he ends up staying, this is something Erik Ten Hag is going to have to sort out one way or another. And I think his nose got a little bit longer when he said, oh, yes, he can go and press and do all these things that I demand from people in my teams in the way he did. He either does that or he turns into Sebastian Haller and stands in the middle and just gets kicked all the time and plays as a target man. But Cristiano doesn't want to do that. You're not going to get the best out of him. There is a reality to Cristiano and the player he is now. And if you're going to have him in your squad and it's just for a year, you're going to have some huge decisions to make. And I don't want to be in Ten Hag's shoes making those decisions.
Because if you play him and he doesn't even make an attempt to press, and your whole thing falls apart, you're going to have to make a decision. You take him off, you don't play him, you drop him. There's the big storyline again, which we have at the moment. So it just never goes away. It's a difficult scenario. I'm intrigued what the Ronaldo camp's thinking about this, because when this first broke a few weeks ago about 37, Champions League, United's a rebuild, want to go somewhere and challenge again, it's not about the money. Well, if United are prepared to let him go at the right deal, can his team not make it happen, Gab? Does it have to be an astronomical wage?
I think they can make it happen. Look, we saw this last summer, right? History's repeating itself. He moved on the last day of the transfer window. Jorge Mendes had to go on a Cristiano Ronaldo roadshow to Paris, to City, to United, and saying, hey, do you want this? Do you want
so
my
where's
client?
he going?
But Bayern have come out and said they're not interested again. We've pretty much heard that from Oliver Kahn.
We knew that wasn't going to happen.
PSG, they're not interested.
I would take what Oliver Kahn says with a pinch of salt, for God's sake. Him and Salih Hamidi. Good grief.
Okay, but let's say it is ruled out. Where's he going?
I think it depends on the number. It depends. People forget this. He took a sizable pay cut to go to Manchester United. Let's not forget about that. He had a year left. I suspect teams simply can't afford him. Teams that can play him and where he can help the team, and there's a manager who isn't like, oh, no, this is my system. Cristiano's going to upset my system. He needs to go to a club where there's a manager who says, yeah, this guy's going to sort things out for us. Maybe I'm not going to ask him to run or whatever. I can make it work with him. He just needs to take a pay cut to balance the books. I don't know.
What if a new owner says,
What
I don't
if-
care about your system, and I'm thinking about a certain club with an American ownership that have just come in and said, I just want to make another statement.
Can we think of another club with one of his favorite managers in history, maybe a club where he's been to before that, you know, maybe tried to sign a big striker over the summer, wasn't able to do it because he stayed at Paris Saint-Germain? And
Is it blue or is it white, Gab?
it's white, obviously. I mean, I'm throwing out scenarios, but this is what we can say. It's all crazy talk, but the reality is, we know he wants to play Champions League football. We know that he can continue to produce in certain situations because he did it last year in a horrendous context on a horrendous team at United, and he did in the Champions League as well. If it comes down to money, if he's willing to take a pay cut, you know, why not wait till the end, see how things are in August? The leagues will have started. And, I mean, that's how I would play it if I was George Mendes. And if it doesn't work out, I'd come back to United, and unless Erik ten Hag's won every game, I knock on the door, and I feel pretty good about my chances. He lets me back in. And if you know what, Craig, if that doesn't happen, I rest until the World Cup, and I win the World Cup with Portugal, and I go back and say, hey, Erik. I do one of those.
Hey, that sounds very easy to say.
That all sounds very nice.
He must have been listening to the Christian Pulisic interview, talking about winning the World Cup.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.